Your brain is a gold mine. I'm Chris Cooper. This is Run a Profitable Gym. And today I'm going to give you an exercise to unlock all the secrets, all that knowledge that you've got inside your brain already, put it to action and make some money or make some steps to growing your gym. See, here's the problem. While most gym owners have a ton of knowledge, thanks to podcasts just like this one, thanks to YouTube channels where we're learning from different gym experts, thanks to groups like gymownersunited.com, and thanks to the free guides that we hand out all the time, they don't use it, right? Maybe you're reading 50 books a year, but you're not actually applying any of it. Or maybe you're listening to 2 podcasts every single week and you're not taking action on it. And the reason that we don't take action on this stuff is, number one, because of overwhelm. We think that more information will get us better results, but that's not the case. More information is just more information until it's used. We're confused. We might be unclear on like how we apply this to our business. Indecision. We can't really decide. Should we raise our rates or should we not? Lack of a deadline, right? Well, I can do that later. I'm going to put that on another shelf. Or paralysis by analysis, right? This guy says that woman says this. Which one should I actually do? And all of that means that all the stuff that we're learning is useless. It's like gold that's still sitting in the gold mine. You know, Jim Rohn once said, don't let your learning lead to knowledge, let your learning lead to action. You're way better to read 2 books a year and act on both than you are to read 200 books and act on none. So today I'm going to give you an exercise to pull out what's actually in your head. Figure out which of the things that you've already learned should be focused on in the next month, give you a plan to actually go out there and do that and kind of like mentor yourself through it. So I'm going to give you this cool little tool called Unlock Hidden Knowledge, and I'm going to walk you through it. Okay. Now I've got a couple of instructions here, and I'm going to give you some samples as we go, of course, but what I want you to do is just kind of work through this one thing at a time. And I've got some samples here for you. You know, I have a lot of friends who say, I'm going to read 50 books a year. And unfortunately, if I quiz them even 2 weeks later, what did you learn from that book? You know, all these books behind me, like pick any one. What did you learn from that book? Oh, man, let's see. That book was about this thing. Great. How did you apply that? Well, I didn't. It was interesting. It was motivating. It made me determined, right? None of that counts. Like none of that actually moves the needle on your business. And so what I want you to do here is go through the last 5 business books that you actually read, okay? And tell me, what was the top lesson that you got it? So for example, let's say that the last book that you read was my book, Golden Hour. What you're going to do here, I'm going to make this readable. The Golden Hour. What you're going to do is think about like, what was the top takeaway from that book? Now, maybe in some cases you picked up 2 things, right? Like, I'll give you a good example of a bad business book here in a moment. But you want to write down like, what is the number one thing that you'll remember for years? Well, it's basically like, you know, from Golden Hour, I hope that the number one thing that you learned was like block off time to work on my business. But I have a mantra in the book that I repeat over and over. And that was every day, do one thing to grow your business before you do anything else. Okay. That's the top lesson. I hope that sticks with you because that will help you with whatever. But the reality is, if you don't go out and block that hour and start doing things, then the book really hasn't helped you. It's just more information. Okay. What action did you take? Well, maybe you did the Golden Hour challenge. Okay. Maybe you started blocking off the 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. block every day, or the 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. block every night, and doing what the book tells you explicitly to do. Or maybe you just blocked off that time and that's when you do your YouTube videos, or that's when you do your blog posts, or that's when you contact your former clients, or that's when you set up your Facebook ads, or whatever that is. You block off that time and you think about, what do I do to grow my business? Now, the book is full of samples, etc. But if you didn't take any action, again, it doesn't count. It's like you didn't even read the book. The result, well, you know, I've got tons and tons of results from this book, so I'm kind of cheating here. But, you know, I made $3,000 in front end revenue. Okay. The result was that I also have like this habit of getting up every day And when I'm freshest, using that time to grow my business before I do anything else. Now, the last category is like, what is the payoff of that action? I've split these two things up because sometimes the result that you get is not necessarily a straightforward payoff. I'll give you another example here. So years ago, when I started working with a mentor, the first book that he prescribed to me was called The E-Myth. I'd never heard of it before, but that book really changed my business. The top lesson of The E-Myth is like the hit by a bus test. Okay. Basically, you want to systemize everything in your business so that it can run without you. Even if you never plan on letting it run without you, there's always going to be something that takes you out of the game, hit by a bus. But even, the other thing about it is like, hey, if you're still working in the business, having things written down forces you to do things the same way every time and forces you to hold the standard. And now you can measure the standard of excellence in other people and you can coach them to do it just the way that you would. It's a game-changing book. Okay. What action did I take? I wrote a massive staff playbook. Now, kudos to anybody who can read the E-Myth and just go out and write the staff playbook. I needed my mentor to hold me accountable for writing that staff playbook, but that's just because I was, even though I'd been in business for a decade, I was a pretty immature entrepreneur. I was burned out, overwhelmed, paralyzed by analysis, all that stuff I said earlier, right? Just like everybody else. I wouldn't have done it unless my mentor had said, this is the most important thing, do this by Monday. And I did it by Monday. And then I taught it the next week to my staff, and that changed my business forever. I won't go deeper into that. I could do a whole show on this. The result was that everyone did things the same way every time to a high standard. Okay. Before, if somebody had said, Chris, is your business a 3 out of 10, a 5 out of 10, or an 8 out of 10? I couldn't have answered you because when I ran a class, it was a 5. When Tyler ran a class, it was an 8. When somebody else ran a class, it was a 2. It was different all the time. You have to standardize, not because you're trying to build McDonald's here, but because you need to be able to measure how you're doing so that you can improve it. And then what was the payoff? Well, honestly, it was infinite, but I'm giving this to you as an example of, here's something that you do that you can't really track the effect on because it improves your business forever. I did this 15 years ago. The payoff is probably millions of dollars in clients who would otherwise have quit or not signed up, but I can't measure it. And a lot of the times when we're working with somebody as a mentor, we're giving them something that will change their business and their life forever, but you can't measure it directly to dollars and cents and ROI. Okay. That's the last 5 business books that you read. I want you to go through all 5. Now, look, let's say that you read something like, I'm going to do this one in red. Leaders Eat Last. Okay. What is the top message in that book? Well, you come last. If the plane is crashing, secure everybody else's face mask before you secure your own, right? Like sacrifice yourself, be the first one there, set the example. What action can you take on that? Well, I guess I could pay others first. Okay. Now, what you'll notice here is that if you've read Leaders Eat Last and you got a completely different takeaway than I did, okay, a different lesson, you took a different action, good. This is about you and pulling the hidden knowledge out of your brain. If you can't tell, I wasn't a big fan of that book. The result from paying others first is, for me, it was martyrdom. I did this for years and years and years, and I can't blame Simon Sinek for this. I just did it. My coaches were making more than I was, and my clients were underpaying, and they were getting all these benefits and deals and discounts, and they were getting open gym time for free and all this other stuff. Meanwhile, I was missing my kids. I was working a 17-hour day, slowly working myself into the grave and reading the want ads every day. So what was the payoff? What was the negative? But that's okay because it's still a lesson learned. And so what I want you to do, if that's one of the last 5 business books that you read, even if you didn't get a good lesson, even if you didn't take an action, list it anyway, because it's worth doing the exercise just to remind yourself, I need to be looking for an action in these books that I'm reading. All right. That's books. I'm not going to go as deep in every category. Think about the last 5 business podcasts that you heard. Okay. So, Run a Profitable Gym. Great. What was the top lesson? Well, maybe you listened to one of our leaderboard shows and you heard about something that's called a sweat intro. You've never heard about that before because on Run a Profitable Gym, we always talk about a no sweat intro. We coined that phrase over a decade ago. A no sweat intro is a consultative process. A sweat intro is a consultative process, and then you do something a little bit physical. Okay. It's not a free trial. What you're doing is you're having a conversation with somebody, you're asking about their goals, you're writing a prescription, and then you're saying, okay, here's how we would do this. Okay. Let's go in the gym. Let's spend 10 minutes together and let me show you what we're going to do. This just helps them get a clearer picture of what you're doing in your head. Some gyms in Two Brain do a sweat intro. I don't, but that's okay. So, what action did you take from that? Oh, well, I learned something, but did I actually do anything? Well, maybe not. Good information, though. Remember what I said earlier, information doesn't count. If you don't take an action, you don't get a result and you don't get a payoff. Now let's think about, something else that you did. Oh, well, one of the podcasts that gets talked about a lot is Alex Hormozi's podcast. I don't actually remember what it's called. It might just be called Alex Hormozi. Top lesson. Oh, he's got a good episode about like stacking value, creating products that stack up. You can get, if you buy now, you'll get this and this and this, and you don't discount your core, but maybe you add a supplement, or maybe you add online programming, or maybe you add like an asset, something that you built once and you can just give away forever, like a nutrition guide. Okay. What action did you take? Well, I built that nutrition guide. Okay. And also a shopping checklist after I heard that. Actually, now that I think about it, this is probably in a book, not a podcast, but that's okay. The result was that now I give that to everybody. And so, maybe I close more sales. Now, if you're in Two Brain, I'm telling you right now, like you're measuring this, right? You'll know if you're actually closing more sales. But if you're not, it's okay to guess a little bit. Say, I think I'm closing better because I've got these little bonuses. Maybe you could even say, like, I'm not as tempted to give a discount because I'm giving a bonus instead. Okay. I don't undermine myself by saying, I'll give you 20% off, cut my own throat. Instead, I say, hey, if you sign up now, I'll give you this extra little thing. And I feel like I'm giving a gift. The payoff, maybe I close more sales. So maybe out of every 10, I used to close 5 and now I close 6. And so now my close rate is higher. Okay. In Two Brain, we're going to teach you how to measure that so that you know what's actually working. But if you're not in Two Brain and you're just doing this exercise for yourself, okay, now you've got like, oh, I improved my close rate when I did that. Okay. Then you go to the next business podcast that you heard. Maybe you listen to Profit First podcast or something like that. The top lesson, you need to pay yourself first. What action did you take? Well, I set up 2 other bank accounts. And I automatically move money from one to the next every single month. Great. The result was I actually make $500 more per month. It works. And the payoff, of course, is the same, $500 per month. This is one of those categories where the payoff is very easy to measure because it's the direct result of doing the work. When I build a guide and we give them out for free in gymownersunited.com, this is the number one question I'm asking of myself and our editorial team. Can I, if somebody is using this guide, can they just take the action in the guide? Is it simple to do? And if they do take the action, will they get a clear result? And if they do get a clear result, will there be a clear payoff? Okay. That's how we measure the value of the guides that we put out. And honestly, that's what I do in my books now too. Next, the last 5 free Two Brain guides, which, hey, I just mentioned, right? So maybe you just got our newest one, which, as of this calendar date was 30 leads in 30 days without paid ads. I'll just, refresh this because it's without paid ads. I have nothing against paid ads, but a lot of people are scared of them, and there is a bit of a learning curve there. What's the top lesson? Well, one of the things in that guide, which was super good, was doing seminars in clients' workplaces or with clients' sports teams. Okay. What action? Well, I spoke to 3 members about it. Okay, what was the result? One of them actually signed up and I got like 12 leads. So I had 12 people give me their name and email address and added them to my email list. What was the payoff from that? Well, one of them actually signed up. So my front end offer is $400. It's working already. I should go back and do that again. That's a really good one. There was another guide on like adding kids programs. Very popular guide. By the way, I'm not just making these up. These are all available to you at gymownersunited.com. Just go in there, look in the guides, request the ones that you want, and I'll give them to you. I'll DM them to you to make sure that you get them. And then I can answer questions about the guides too. Top lesson. Well, how to price them, how to roll them out, how to market them. It's all in this guide. It's an awesome guide. It's one of our most popular of all time. What action did you take? Well, none, because I don't really have anybody to coach them. Okay, well, you didn't take any action, so there's no results, so there's no payoff, all right? Or maybe let's say that you requested our how to make 100K with 150 clients guide, one of our all-time most popular. The top lesson in that is, there's many, but it's basically like raise your ARM. Most gyms read that guide and they think, okay, well, everybody's underpaying. If everybody paid a little bit more, here's how I would do it. I would not be adding expenses just by adding, 300 clients at discounts, and my profit margin would be a lot higher. And I could make 100K a year take home. That's not revenue, that's take home from 150 clients. Okay, great. Well, what action did you take? Well, I learned that I should raise my ARM, right? These are 2 red flags for you. I learned something and I found out that I should do something. If I ask you, like, what did you do as an action of that guide, and you tell me I learned something or I figured out that I should do something, that tells me that you probably didn't take any action. You didn't get the payoff. So did you raise your ARM? No. Okay, no result, no payoff for you. Next, let's go to the last 5 YouTube gym business videos that you watched. Okay. All right. So maybe this is one. So you watched this, right? Or maybe you just watched like the 30 leads in 30 days thing. Or maybe you watched another guide. Maybe you watched another video from somebody else. You want to list that video. So 30 leads. Top lesson was, you can do this without paid ads. Another really great one in there was like sell by chat. Okay, what action did you take? Did you start 5 conversations every week with leads? Yeah, I did actually. I used Golden Hour in combination with this, and every Wednesday I talk to 5 leads every Wednesday. Fantastic. What result did you get? Well, I've been booking like 2 more NSIs per week since I started doing this. Wonderful. If your close rate is even 50%, then one of those people is signing up. So that's $400 a week. If your on-ramp is $400 or whatever, right? Let's say that I watched a YouTube gym business video about like what to do about stinky clients. I saw this on somebody else's channel last week. Top lesson. Well, I don't know. What did I learn from that? I guess it's awkward to talk to stinky clients. I don't know. And like, yeah, stinky clients are bad and it affects other members. So I should talk to them. So I guess tell them. What action have you taken? Well, none. What result did you get? None. What's the payoff? Nothing. So when I'm watching most YouTube videos, it's not helpful because it doesn't tell you exactly what to do. And so you can't act on it. And so like, this is not your fault. This is the fault of the video producer. And a lot of my older stuff was guilty of this too. You'd watch something and what you would gain from it is knowledge, but that knowledge wasn't something that you could act on. So you couldn't take action, which means you couldn't get a result, which means you couldn't get a payoff. So what you did was you just invested 5 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes in this video, and you didn't get a result. That's not what we're going to do today. We're going to get a result from this. And then last 5 discussions you followed in Gym Owners United. So, there have been a couple of really great ones lately. One of them was more leads No ads. Great one. Fantastic one. Okay, here's one. How to sublease my space. So good. Where do you get your equipment from? There's another one just today on startup marketing. Okay, I mean, that group is amazing. And frankly, sometimes it's my muse. I go in there, I'm like, wow, yeah, this is great. And I write a guide, right? Somebody will be like, how do I get more kids to my kids program? And I'll go out there and create a guide to tell them how to do it. So the key, though, again, is like, what is the top lesson that you got from that discussion? Well, the top lesson, I guess, is how to convert from social media. Okay. What action did you take? Well, I started trying some sell by chat through my Instagram. Cool. How did it go? Well, nothing yet. Okay, no problem. You haven't had a payoff yet, but that might work. Like, keep going. How to sublease. The value, the top lesson was like how to price. What action taken? I went back to the massage therapist who wanted to rent my space, and I gave them a price. The result, they signed up, $450 a month. Okay, and the payoff is the same. Easy, direct line to payoff on that one. All right, so now what we've got here is this chart. This is all the hidden knowledge that's in your brain, but we're not here to catalog your hidden knowledge, okay? We're not here to create more overwhelm or anything like that. What we're actually here to do is unlock it and turn that knowledge into a payoff. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to go figure out what your next best step is, okay? Now, look, there's a few different metrics that you want to improve in your gym. One is ARM, one is how many clients you have, and one is how to increase your take-home pay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to this chart here, all right? And we are going to say, let's find something that will increase our ARM. You know what? I think I remember writing something about ARM. What could that have been? Boy, oh boy. You know what? I think it was actually, stacking value. That was a really good one. There's probably some other ones here too. Find one, okay? Find something that's going to increase your ARM. If you can't find that, don't worry about it. But here we go. This was it for me. The next thing you want to do is say, okay, well, let's find something that can get me more clients. Oh, well, this one worked. That was a great one. I'm going to actually just give a big dark green circle to that one. That was awesome. Okay. Another one is how to improve your retention. Okay. So maybe you find something else here. And another one is how to increase your net owner benefit, like what you make from the gym. Oh, profit first. I did that. I made that extra $500 a month. So now we've identified the things that you've used in the past and have worked. The next step is if you haven't done anything in the past, find something for each metric. What's one thing that I can do to increase my ARM? Well, it's like stacking value up front. Okay. What's one thing that I could do to increase the number of clients that I get? Well, I could do this 30 leads in 30 days guide. All right. Then what we're going to do is we're going to pick one tactic for each one. Okay. Now, the key here, remember what I said, is there's lots of gold in that gold mine. You just have to extract it. You can't extract it all at once. You got to pick one tactic. So the first thing I want you to do is to go through this chart and find one way that you're going to get 5 more clients next month. Okay. Well, maybe it's this 30 leads in 30 days guide. That sounds pretty good. Or maybe, if I've got a kids gym, I could do this adding kids program guide. That sounds pretty good. Or maybe I watch this YouTube video on getting more leads. Maybe that sounds pretty good. We're going to pick one, just one. Okay. You're going to pick one thing to do to get you some more clients first. Start with the things that you've done in the past, by all means. If you've done one and it worked, repeat it. You're way better off repeating what you've already done because you're just going to get better and better at it over time. So let's go to that 30 leads in 30 days. Look, it already worked once. Let's repeat it. But if you don't have anything on here, if you haven't taken action on any of it, you haven't gotten a good result, no problem. Pick a new one. It doesn't matter. The next thing you're going to do is pull out your schedule and you're going to book an appointment with yourself to get this work done. Now, I'm going to use this 30 leads in 30 days guide because it's brand new. We just put it out not too long ago. You're going to open up your calendar. You're going to ask yourself, when am I most productive? Is it first thing in the morning? Then I want you to block yourself 3 1-hour appointments to do this work. As my mentor, Carrie Wilkerson, always told me, Chris, if it's important, it gets an appointment. Make an appointment with yourself to do the work. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull out your calendar, okay? Monday from 5 till 6 a.m. That is my golden hour time to do this. I'm going to get this 30 leads in 30 days guide. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to read it. I'm going to go step by step through it. I'm going to do exactly what it says to do. Tuesday, same thing, continue. Wednesday, same thing, continue. You're going to block yourself off 3 1-hour appointments as if you were blocking an appointment with a client, but you're really blocking with yourself. After you've done that and executed on it, you can start tracking the result and the payoff. Then you can move to the next thing. What do I need to do next? I need to increase my ARM. Okay. Well, let me get this guide from Chris. So I go to gymownersunited.com. I find that guide. I request it. I give it to you. I'm going to block an appointment with myself. I'm going to need 3 hours to figure this out. Thursday, 5 till 6 a.m., 1-hour appointment, increase ARM. Friday, lock an appointment with myself, 1 hour, 5 to 6 a.m., increase ARM. The following Monday, make an appointment in my calendar. If you make an appointment with yourself, you will do the work. And the key here is that you are doing one thing at a time. You are single tasking. You are not answering emails. You are not responding to social media. You are not looking at Slack. You are doing this thing for that hour, and that's it. Okay, then you're going to pick like the next thing. How do I actually make more money from my gym? Maybe it's profit first. Okay, what do I do? Well, I find the Two Brain podcast or the Profit First podcast that has the instructions, and I set up my accounts. There we go. I set them up to pay myself $500 a month more. I make myself an appointment, 5 to 6 a.m., 3 days in a row, and I put this into practice and I do the work. Look, I'm a business mentor and I've been giving people free advice like this for 14 years. The reason that I'm a mentor and the reason that Two Brain Business is a mentorship practice is because most people collect information, right? They find the gold mines and then they leave all the gold in the mine. It's all in the cave. They don't do the work. When you buy coaching, you're buying an outcome. You're buying speed. You're buying accountability, implementation, whatever it takes to get you to do the work. That is the gap. People have knowledge. They understand what the result will be, but they don't ever bridge that gap. And that's a coach's job. You do that for fitness, don't you? You take people into your gym and they know, no, I should eat less sugar and move an hour a day. And if I do that, I'll be healthier, fit my clothes better, feel better about myself. But they don't jump that gap. There's no bridge. You are the bridge. You are the coach. And I am the coach for business. And that's how this works. It's not that people need more knowledge. As Naval Ravikant said, if knowledge solved the problem, we would all be billionaires with six-pack abs. The knowledge is out there. Nobody can outthink the internet. Nobody's hiding anything. The knowledge is all out there. It's getting you to do the work. Now, look, this is why we say when you hire a mentor, you're buying speed, because a mentor cuts through all these problems that we listed at the start of the session. They cut through the overwhelm. They cut through the confusion. They cut through the indecision. They cut through the lack of a deadline, lack of urgency. They cut through the paralysis by analysis. I'm going to show you exactly how we do this at Two Brain. I just gave you a rudimentary exercise that you can do yourself to figure out what should I actually do that will get me a result. But at Two Brain, we actually get a little bit fancier with this. At Two Brain, we track your metrics. So what we have you do is have you set goals and, here's a goal for net owner benefit. And then we work backward from there to say, well, given your expenses, what average revenue per member do you need and how many members do you need to get there and how long do you have to keep members? Then every month or every time you're on a call with your mentor, you open up this dashboard and it's available to you anytime. You can open it up anytime you want to. This is our app. You can say, okay, look, I need more clients. I have a goal of 110. I currently have 63. How do I get more clients? Well, let's figure that out. So now this is our toolkit. Okay. We have so many courses, tools, tactics for you to use. I'm going to go down just to the clients. First, we're going to find out, are leads the problem? Do you not have enough leads? Then, do you have leads, but they're not booking appointments? Are they booking appointments, but they're not buying? Like, where exactly is the problem? And then based on that, what we're going to do is give you homework. So if you're saying like, I don't have enough leads, you can click on, why aren't you getting leads? Maybe we need to start off with an audit, or maybe you don't have a paid ads funnel, or maybe you're not doing content, or maybe you don't have a referral funnel. And then when we open that up, what we're going to see here is a full course on how to get referrals, step by step by step by step. Here's videos. Here's exactly what to do. Here's the templates. Here's exactly what to say. Here's what to do. Okay. Here's how to fill in the sheet. Here's the worksheet to do it. Exactly what to do. What the mentor is going to do is assign that to you for homework. Okay. You go in your dashboard. Here's all the tasks. These are all the things that your mentor has given you to do. Now, we're not just going to say, do this thing. We're going to say, like, here is the tool that you need to do this. Implement. Here is the deadline. Here's the date of our next call. Here's how I'm going to follow up with you. That's how we make sure that people get things done. It's not that we're giving you different information or all the super secrets in the mentorship program that we're not giving away in Gym Owners United. What we're doing is giving it to you in a logical order that's based for your gym. Like, I'm programming for your fitness instead of just issuing a general fitness prescription to everybody. Then we're coaching you through it to make sure that you do the work as fast as possible with minimal pain and actually make progress in your gym. In other words, we're coaching you. Now, we look at the next biggest opportunity because we know your gym and we've got this objective perspective, and we're not just like stuck in your head, and we're not burdened with the overwhelm of, oh, this client, that client, all the story that's tying you up, right? Here's the lesson today. You don't need more ideas. You don't need more podcasts or books or videos. You need clarity. I'm going to give you clarity if you do this exercise. And of course, there's other tools always coming in gymownersunited.com, including a big one that I can't really talk about yet. But the biggest tool we've ever built is actually coming very soon. You'll see it, but we'll announce it on our Run a Profitable Gym podcast, and we'll talk about it in gymownersunited.com so that you can do this tool with help and actually make some progress in your gym. Look, I want you to try this for a month. I want you to pull up this sheet. I want you to make appointments for yourself every single day, Monday through Friday, for 1 hour a day, and just focus on these things that you already know how to do. At the end of the month, if you made some progress, congratulations, you've earned it. You've done the work. Send me a DM. Tell me how you did. Which thing worked for you? Okay. Then book a call to figure out the next step. If you do this for a month and you don't make progress, it's time to stop kidding yourself. Get a mentor. Look, I don't mean to make fun of people who can't make progress on their own. I can't make progress on my own. None of your clients can make progress on their own. None of your staff can make progress on their own. And it's tough when you're a business owner to make progress on your own because of overwhelm of information. 30 years ago, it was because business owners didn't know what to do. Now it's because we don't know what not to do. And so that stops us from doing the thing. Hopefully this little tactic helps you. Please let me know in comments if it did.